And just like that, bam, March is over. Well, now that the month is over, pretty much today's the last day, we're going to take a quick look, and it's a good time to take a quick look at how the market is doing here in the Phoenix metro area. As always, there's a lot to report, and I promise not to take too much of your time and to bore you with a bunch of, innate numbers and things that don't really matter. So if you're interested in how the real estate market is doing here in Arizona, and specifically the Phoenix metro area, stick around. We're going to cover some of these numbers here in a bit. So if this is your first time to our channel, you want to know everything there is to know about Arizona, the Phoenix metro area, or anything about living in Arizona in general, make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and of course, ring that bell to stay up to date on everything. My name's Len. You may know my partner Jason, and we get calls every single day from subscribers just like you who are looking just for a little bit of information about what's going on in Arizona. They're looking to move to sunny Arizona, and we absolutely love hearing from you, and we can't wait to get back to you and answer any of the questions that you may have. So please reach out. Like I said, we're happy to answer those questions, whether you're looking to move in 6 days or 6 months or even 6 years. We definitely want to hear from you, so please reach out. All right, let's dig into this a little bit, some of the stats, right? So as a real estate agent, one of the most common questions that I get and have gotten for the last 20 years is, how's the market, right? It's kind of a loaded question, but we get that quite a bit. And obviously, in my opinion, how the market is always going to depend whether or not you're a buyer or a seller. Buyers want a deal, sellers want a quick sale for the most money possible. So, how does that measure up for each one of those? So let's start and take a look at what I consider one of the most important factors in all this, which is supply and demand, right? So buyer demand. Without buyer demand, sellers have no hope, and that measures really everything. So where is the demand currently here in the Phoenix metro area? So last month we reported that buyer demand was increasing in the Phoenix metro area, and what I can tell you is that here we are again another 30 days later, and that is continuing to happen. We're still seeing that climbing. There's this program or this subscription called the Cromford Market Report that we subscribe to that analyzes the market daily, on a daily basis. It measures like a 10-year spread, looks at contracts, compared to the ratios of sales. And right now, it basically says anything that's above 100 is considered a seller's market. Anything below is considered as a buyer's market. And actually he likes 110 to 90 is kind of that like medium spread. And right now what I can tell you is that we're above 134. So it's definitely continuing to moving into a seller's market, which means we're going to continue to have a pretty competitive spring, at least in my opinion, for the next 60 to 90 days. So what does that increased buyer demand mean for inventory? Obviously, inventory and availability is always going to be another driver for the demand, pricing, all that other stuff. And what we've seen with the availability is that it's matching kind of the demand, right? So as we've watched the demand rise, we've watched the inventory drop. A year ago, we saw the opposite. Demand dropped, inventory rose. And so, supply and demand, right? It's happening right in front of our eyes. We're seeing it. So what I can tell you is that our inventory has actually not increased since we last run these numbers a month ago. In fact, about a month ago, I think we were reporting right around 14,000 homes for sale available in the Phoenix metro area. And as of this morning, we're less than 12 or 13,000. So it was like 1,276 or something like that. So one thing we say is that what we see here in Phoenix reflects on the rest of the state. So you can make assumptions that what we're seeing here in Phoenix is happening across the board for the entire state. So what has this done for pricing? So yes, again, the law of supply and demand kicks in. So last month, and one way I like to measure that is looking at the average price per square foot. So last month we were seeing an average of $272 a foot, and right now we've bumped up to $280 a foot. This is about the most significant increase we've seen in price per square foot in almost a year, to be exact. So the last thing on top of all this that I like to look at is interest rates. I like to use the Freddie Mac website because it just takes the average of everything across the country based on what people locked in for that previous week, and it lets us know if we're moving up, moving down. So what I like to tell people is that when you go to that website and you're shopping for a mortgage, the rate that they advertised isn't necessarily the rate that you're going to get. There's always multiple factors that determine whether or not you get that rate or you get a different rate. But right now, what they're advertising at the locked-in rate is sitting at about 6.3%, and we've actually been seeing that drop over the last few weeks. The 10-year Treasury has been dropping over the last few weeks as well, and mainly what's been triggering that is the bank failures that we've seen. We did see the Fed do another 25 basis point increase, but everything I'm reading is investors are saying that they're not sure if that's going to continue to go, right? So that's what kicked everything off a year ago. My advice, as always, is, the old saying, buy low, sell high. That doesn't mean watch the interest rates. That means watch pricing, right? And so if you're a buyer in this market, you're actually in a great spot. So get up on it.